Welcome to BattleTech in the Not Quite Morning with Captain Nips. I am Captain Nips, and yes, once again, the vicissitudes of life get between me and the morning, and here we are, the afternoon of the middle United States. Getting my stompy robots on, but you know, any time of day is a good time of day for some BattleTech backer beta. And today I have a I thought yesterday was going to be silly. Today is going to be even sillier. So in today's BattleTech video, I want to put the spotlight on another chassis that is entirely likely to show up in the campaign game come time when it may. This time, we're going to look at our favorite little trash can.
Welcome, Commander.
The UrbanMech. Now, the UrbanMech that we have in the game right now, as those of you who have played a bit, should be familiar with its basic profile, very slow, mimicking assault class speeds, reasonable durability for its size, but it's still a light mech, so you can't count on it to take too many hits. A couple of jump jets to get it around the battlefield ever so slightly faster, and then a sizable gun for a light mech, the Autocannon 10, one ammo bin worth of ammo, and a small laser for backup. Now, there exists a variant of this mech out there in the inner sphere that takes this idea of a high power gun equipped slow light mech to the absolute extreme of its time. According to the lore generally associated with the Capellan Confederation, which happens to be very close by the Oregon Reach. So, modifications thereof, of the typical R60 we could expect to see on the battlefield, will include the R60L. And when you want to go big or go home, you go no bigger than the R60L, because this variant, concocted for reasons that really don't make a lot of sense, has swapped out the Autocannon 10 for the Autocannon 20. Just let that sink in. Kind of marinate in that for a second. We're already giving up a bunch of weight to mount the Autocannon 10, which in BattleTech, the PC game beta that we're playing now, is a very good weapon because it got damage upscaled because of reasons. We like those reasons. It makes its weight worthwhile. I mean, the Autocannon 10 was already pretty worthwhile, but the extra damage was a nice bonus. The Autocannon 20 in this game does not get any bonus damage, but it does have all of that weight. And where do we get weight when we've already used it all up? Well, about that. Can't really make the engine that much smaller. I mean, we could try. It would almost at that point become a turret. May as well not classify it as a mech. And we didn't take it away from the rest of the loadout, because the rest of the loadout is literally 2 jump jets, a single heatsink, and a small laser. So, we took it from the armor. Yes, my friends, the R60L has about 2/3 of the armor of the R60, which as I mouse back and forth, you should see that little bar dance a little bit. This is taking the concept of get the first shot and make sure they're dead to an impossible extreme for a mech of this class. Urban mechs were, I would consider the R60 relatively durable for a mech its size. It's almost fully armored. The R60L goes to about 2/3 full armor, which is really, really, really thin in places. For instance, the arms, not quite, they're a little bit over half armored from the R60. The torso's about 3/4 of the armor there. The legs, about 2/3 of the armor there. It even gives up armor in the head. On the cockpit, it is about 2/3 as armored as the regular R60. So if you want to have success with the R60L, you're going to want to get the first shot and ensure that whatever you're firing at dies, because you may not get a second chance. And even if you get a protracted fight out of it, you're not going to have too many shots, because one bin of AC-20 ammo does not go a long way. So we're going to give this a roll today. I have set up my pilots, mirror image as usual. R60Ls on my side of the field and regular R60s on the opposite side. In terms of cost, the two variants are pretty comparable. You're only giving up you're paying an extra about 100k C-bills for an R60L, thereabouts, which is not terrible in the long scheme of things. Also, it's a light mech, it's relatively cheap. You know, go from there. This is absolutely a chassis that's intended for urban environment combat. Like, just straight up and down. Like, if you thought the R60 was intended to be a city fighter, the R60L takes that just past the logical extreme. So, since we don't have an urban environment to play in, I'm going to go to the stacks because it kind of emulates somewhat of a city. The sightlines, as we demonstrated yesterday, pretty broken up. So let's get this Urby bash underway.
Deployment. Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
Now, I expect that this match is going to be very short and very brutal because I have equipped both lances with the 3 crackshot pilots and Paradise. Sorry, Paradise. Which means there probably aren't going to be a lot of misses here. And if we have some good focus fire, it's entirely possible we're going to be blowing up Urbies left and right. So let's get this underway. Just take a quick peek at something here. Confirm my suspicion. Yes. Okay. Everybody but Paradise is going to be plotting their way forward. Paradise, I just want to take a quick check. His sprint gets him to here, and his jump is just as far. So I don't want to jump too much, because I have a sneaking suspicion that repeated jump jet use does generate some heat scale, even though it hasn't really played into any of the fights that I've had. No sense giving up too much heat scale before we've even made contact. Let's just keep tromping along.
Right. Moving to position. Move order confirmed.
Look at these little cuties. Look at these little cuties with those big freaking cannons strapped to the side. Such adorable little trash cans. Alright. We are in it to win it. Everything's on phase 4.
I'm receiving you.
So, not a lot of surprises to be had.
Roger, Skipper. Kicking it.
She just called me Skipper. Alright then. That's a new one.
Standing by.
Yeah, let's jump into the trees here.
Awaiting orders.
I'm going to send Apex and Wildfire to the left, send Paradise and Kraken up the middle here, middle-ish. I'm going to stay off the road because I don't really want to engage in a firefight so close. Ooh. Actually get down here. I guess I'll just pull off to the left hard. Change my mind a little bit here. Try and keep this hill between me and the enemy lance for the moment. And ideally I want to be fighting in and around these spires where I can jump jet back and forth, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to have to really leverage some off turns to clear refire penalties, because I have literally 5 shots with each autocannon 20, so I need to make sure they hit. And if that means taking a turn off to try and get to cover
Ready for orders.
to try and, you know, break line of sight for a turn just so the refire penalty clears. We'll see how it goes. I mean, having put the 3 crack shot pilots in, maybe that's not going to be a big deal, but a +2 penalty, 10% or so of 2 hit is absolutely worth paying attention to. Let's get him out of the way.
I understand.
But we just death ball to the left, because that is kind of where I'm flowing here.
Receiving you.
Oof, that's rough. Can we get anything else? Nope. Sprint to here. That's cool.
On it.
Out of curiosity, let's zoom in and check the profile. Now, I don't believe with the camera angles you can get below horizon level, so I am looking straight across, I think. So that means we are on the low side of this hill as it kind of crests up over here. And if we zoom this up, that means this guy is a bit down the back of the hill. These guys are all spread out, and one of them isn't even in sensor range, so that's fun.
Waiting for orders.
I think this position will be safe. There's a bit of a rock wall in front of where Wildfire ends. This rock right here.
No target.
Okay. Let's see what we got. So far, so good.
Ready for orders.
Let's
Yes, Commander.
move some of my forward elements up a bit. Sprint to the trees. And I recognize that coming off of yesterday's brutal and disheartening loss, that leaning on my movement modifiers to keep me safe is not necessarily going to win me every fight, and especially in a fight where these are urban mechs and they're not generating hardly any movement modifiers to begin with.
On my way. Double time.
2 dots is about a 10% chance to hit difference, which is not great. Especially if you're the thing shooting at you starts at 80% to hit. 70% is still a big enough number to expect to hit most of the time. Come on. Oh, here we go. Ow. Center of mass.
Internal damage.
Straight off of the word go.
Commander.
Alright. We're in it. I really don't know how he managed to find line of sight. He's got height on me. Okay, the game's not lying to me. It's giving the eyeball over that silhouette, so it's got line of sight on me somehow. I'm guessing because of the height difference. This is not great. I'm going to try to give up my left side and still get that. Just the thinnest hair of the line of sight. %90 to hit. Apex, one of our crack shots. If she centers of mass, she will not quite kill this urban mech.
We'll go.
But boy howdy did we work that left side. And we put a good dent onto the center torso. Alright, so the question is... So that's interesting. I thought I was just standing there. I guess now because I have Apex a step forward and providing an actual line of sight, I can see through here. Sometimes the line of sight in this game makes me wonder. Alright, so Kraken's got 80%. Why do we have 80%? It's obstructed. That's why. Versus the 90% that Apex had. I'm going to take that shot, because if it hits...
Confirmed.
Oh, that's got to be a kill shot. Yep. Alright, let's give those guns a second to clear out and move move on to another side of the battle here.
Yes, Commander.
Wildfire, we can get her down into murder range on this guy.
Coordinates received.
Who is bulwark slash entrench slash
Fire in.
braced. We're going to hit the left side of that pretty hard. Opens it up. So the AI has made a fatal flaw in this match, which is it has spread out its forces. This is just going to turn into a sloppy murder death ball type situation, I think. I'm going to get 85 is... I'm alright with 85. I'll take 85%. Seeing as how we've got arm mounted and height difference. We have advantages. Target size, small target. No penalty for the jump, which is amusing. Drill him. Oh, not going to kill. We're going to work that center torso pretty hard. Yep. Carving laser is now engaged. Fortunately, the cover is providing a safety net here.
I'm receiving you.
Oh, that's interesting. There's a wooded hex right here.
Firing jump jet.
I'm pretty confident that Paradise and Wildfire should be able to take out this target, although Paradise giving up the 10%, he would be at 80 normally. 70 is still a pretty good number, and honestly it's looking like it's only going to take 2 to 3 autocannon shots to down each of these Urbies anyway, so I'm willing to spend a little bit of speculative fire here. Which seems alright. Get the leg, get the torso. This UrbanMech is now completely at our mercy. Wildfire should be able to finish the job on it. Whoa, from downtown! Paradise takes a shot to the right torso.
I'm here.
Let's, I want to get into the right arc and just finish the job here. Or left arc, I should say.
Coordinates received.
Of our downed friend. Center of mass. The numbers are great. If we didn't have the refire penalty, this would be 90%. But Wildfire's a crack shot, so drill that guy out. Make it a 2-0 lead.
Targets down.
Pretty easy peasy. So this is going actually quite well. But again, that's mostly on the fact that the enemy AI kind of did an oopsie here. Let's see. Can we get line of sight on this guy? No. Not sure who gets the first turn next turn. So I think what I want to do is move a little bit and brace.
Standing by.
Kraken will do the same, except can't get very far.
Position.
Oh, UrbanMechs, you're so slow. Atlases outpace my UrbanMechs. Oh, drilled again from the right side. Oh, this time on Wildfire, though. Taking the hit. Alright. So we've got to move on this guy. I think I'll actually keep these two where they are for the moment. Let's deal with this situation up top. And get some action here. %, seems good. Just got the refire penalty. 3 shots left, but that's going to take the right side. There goes the autocannon. This UrbanMech is now at our mercy, I feel. Let's see what this guy's got. Oh, wow. Concentrating fire.
Can't take much more of that.
Heck, there goes Wildfire's autocannon 20. So that actually is probably worth pointing out as a potential downside to the R60L, since everything seemed to be looking like it was roses here. That is an expensive repair. Not just the fact that the torso and the arm are gone, but losing the AC-20 completely, that is an expensive gun. So,
Ready for orders.
depending on whether we're at the whims of market forces or not in the campaign, it's worth trying to, you know, you don't want to take damage if you can avoid it. And especially consider carefully your coffers, how much C-bill padding you have versus what you might lose in the course of a fight. Oh, paradise, sweetie. And I don't have focus yet. So I am... Do we have a refire penalty here? Oh yeah, all the refire penalty. So I'm just going to clear that. Need to push that up just a smidgen in terms of two hit. Where is this guy? Okay, so he's facing to the left of my screen. I've got his left side. I think there's no reason not to push right up on this guy and
Moving out.
smoke him. That's going to be a leg shot. Let's see what the carving laser does. Kind of just shoots into the sky. Apex, I said to bring your carving laser, not your signal laser. We don't need to signal the fleet here.
Standing by.
Let's get cracking in on this action. Line that up. 90% to hit. This is actually probably worth taking a shot at the other leg. Let's see if we can get ourselves some salvage. Salvage it is! We're taking home a trash can, ladies and gentlemen. At the very least, we can use the parts from that to refit the chassis that Wildfire is running around in. Because I get the feeling... Oh, no. Small laser. Oof. Oof. We may need to turn one of these R60Ls into our regular R60 when it's all said and done.
Yes, Commander.
So, let's start with the remainder of the big guns here on this side. Oh, hello. Hold up. We have focus.
That's right. A storm is coming.
Now, normally I don't like to use focus immediately the moment it becomes available. I'd prefer to keep it for a good shot, but this is a good shot. Like, yeah. There we go. 80% to hit. I would have taken that. The focus being up, it's kind of gravy. But it has been pointed out to me that I do tend to sit on my focus a wee bit long because it does not generate fury if you've got focus or something along those lines. And so, like, sitting on your focus shots, you may be hurting your future chances if you don't use it as soon as you can.
Waiting for orders.
Good things to think about
Confirmed.
as you get into these games. This is from forever away, and there is a refire penalty, so we're just gonna keep that shot clean for now. Also, every single one of these autocannon 20 rounds is expensive as hell, so, you know, consideration to keep in mind. Let's just back up a little bit with our jump jets and punch down.
Awaiting orders.
Apex, if you could put on your roller skates and
Going
move
to
up a little
full
bit,
throttle.
that'd be good. Close some of this gap here. See what this remaining trash can has to say about life. Alright, so...
I'm receiving you.
Nope.
Yes, Commander.
Paradise is here. It honestly is not a bad, and this is another thing I learned coming out of yesterday, and it was pointed out to me. If your opponent doesn't have reach and you do, just stay out of their reach.
Going skyward.
There's no reason to get close and put yourself at risk if you can stand off a bit
Locking on
and take
target.
your shots. Even if it gives up some percentage to hit, it's still safer. Stay safe. Stay safe, ladies and
Standing
gentlemen.
by.
When you are operating these large multi-ton death machines,
Target locked.
rule number 1, stay safe. And rule number 2, drill your opponent before they can get to you. So that seems alright.
Successful.
We downed 4 R60 autocannon 10 variant Urbies with 4 autocannon 20 variant Urbies in relatively short order with relatively little pain. Which seems fine. It seems pretty predictable, right? Like, I'm firing guns that are impossibly large for the units they're on. You're gonna just chainsaw through body parts, right? Seems alright. 10 rounds, 18 minutes. Let's try something else. Because I don't feel like that really gave me a good sense of, you know,
Welcome, Commander.
how much fight do we have? How much fight do we have in these urban mechs, right? So let's go grab ourselves this lance again. I want to set up this lance of R60Ls. Interesting, it keeps jumping around in the list here. There we go. We'll go ahead and set up our lance again. Gunnery Kraken, Gunnery Apex. And on the other side, I want to try something a little bit different. So if they're 30 tons apiece, but we stack them on top of each other, that would make 60 tons. So do we have any mechs at the 60 ton mark? 65s. Quick draws. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, cool. What do we want to fight against? Interestingly enough, why does this quick draw have so much more range? It's got an LRM 10. Ah, okay. So the 4G has an LRM 10, 5A has a bajillion medium lasers. Let's stack up here a 5A. Oh, what the hell. Let's just stack a 5A and a 4G side by side. And I don't want to give them crack shot pilots, but I don't want to give them the worst shots. So let's give them Sumo and not Paradise exactly. How about Buckshot? Guts is gonna favor these quick draws very well, having the extra heat scale to work with because quick draws get very hot. Let's go back to the stacks. Yeah, nice rainy day. Now let's see if a quad of R60Ls can punch out these 2 quick draws before the inevitable murder of my squad. And actually, as I'm thinking about this, let's talk about inevitable murder for a second here. I'm actually going to change their pilots. I'm going to even this up. I'll put Wildfire in one. I'm going to put Kraken in the... I don't want a Kraken. We're going to put Apex in the other. So now everybody's a crack shot. Guns are going to be hitting left and right. No questions there. Does this lance have enough staying power and or punch to down these quick draws before they just fat roll these trash cans?
Commencing deployment. Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
Let's find out. You know, when you are 1 and 2 shotting the enemy units, and especially in that last fight where the AI spread itself so very thin, it's kind of a hard thing to judge if it was the fact that your lance is just better or if the AI had an aneurysm. Death Ball is definitely the way to go with this lance, however, because you want to put as many autocannon 20 shots on target in as short a length of time as possible when at all possible. So let's get the lance moving.
Yes, Commander. On the move.
Now, the nice thing about the R60L come down the line, come campaign time, and Mech Lab availability time. Even if they don't include it in the game, by default, oop, there we go, sensor lock, sensor target. It is a very easy refit from the R60L. You're literally just swapping in the autocannon 20 for the autocannon 10, changing the ammo, and then to make up the mass, you're removing armor.
Moving out.
Which you could very easily refit an R60 and an R60L. Because of course you can, because that's the entire genesis of this chassis. This is not necessarily a manufacturer's variant, we'll call it. So, I think what I'm going to do, I think what you need to do
Commander?
when you're in a situation like this. This is very much a trapdoor spider situation. I want to get my guys
I'm receiving you.
into positions.
Moving to position.
Yep.
Waiting for orders.
And you want the enemy to walk into your trap where you can get the first shots off.
You have orders?
I know I kind of repeat that and I say that same thing over and over and over again, but it's one of those things that it's just so important to be cognizant of. BattleTech is a game of attrition, and when you're in mechs like this, you do not have a lot to attrition from. So getting the first shots, getting the first hits, you need to be ahead in the damage race, I think, in this case. Again, the AI is splitting up again, which seems completely foolish. So,
I'm receiving you.
I am going to actually reserve this turn and the next turn. There we go, because I want them to move first. Is he going to try and swing back into position? Kinda not. I'm actually just going to reserve the whole team. Which fortunately we can, because there are no assaults in this match. Alright, so this is a... Alright, that's not great. I'm not getting the first shot. Also, that is a lot of weapon fire to take. But I was braced. I was braced. This is good, because now I'm at the bottom of the round, and I'm going to get 4 to 8 autocannon 20 rounds off on this guy.
Commander?
So let's start with Kraken, who tanked the first shot. 70% to hit is not ideal, but the only modifiers are due to his movement. I can move up to get my small laser into play here. And it actually... So the question is it worth moving up to put those small lasers in play? Let's back out of this for a minute. I just want to paper doll this guy. So what are we looking at? It's got 185 total health on the CT, 140 on the side torsos. Arms are a little over 100, and the legs are likewise to the torsos a little bit more. If I drop 4 autocannon rounds into this guy, that's 400 damage. If I try and focus it, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to one of the other sides. One or the other of the sides. I may just have to just spray at the front side of this thing. If I put 400 damage on the front of this, what are we looking at? So that's 185 plus 140 is 325. Plus another 140 is 465. Unless my shots are very well placed to center of mass, I'm probably not killing this quick draw with the first 4 shots. Do I need to bring the small lasers into play? I'm going to hazard a guess that I don't right at this moment, because I've got the top of the next round to also attack in. So, all of that said, I think it is worth... That's 3. Reverse. I can reverse to here. And that puts me into an obstruction. You know what, let's move off of Kraken.
Commander?
Okay, there's the problem that I was thinking might occur there. So Kraken will probably have to stand still. I'm going to move Apex to here. Yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with Kraken. You just stand still. Take your shot. 70% is not the worst. The problem that I'm foreseeing is that this guy's really close, and even if he doesn't choose to fire weapons next round, assuming it survives, which I fully expect, he could just come up and melee my trash can right in the face and murder it. So we need to kill it. We need to kill it hard. We need to kill it now. That is a great start. Although I thought it was the center, not the side torso. That's fine.
Yes, Commander.
Apex. What are we looking at? 70% to hit. I'm going to take these shots. I'm going to take these shots. I don't necessarily like them, though.
We'll go.
Yeah, and that's why. Alright, I think I need to sell out a little bit more. These obstructions are actually a problem. So, let's make sure that these weapons hit. There we go. Open up that CT. Beautiful.
Requesting critical hit. What's the plan?
Seems alright. That's that right torso again. That'll transfer, though. 25 left. There we go. We catch a knockdown. We go back to the top of the order. This guy is essentially dead. I probably don't even need to use the entire team to down this guy.
Commander?
And truth be told, as I'm looking at this, I don't need to use my autocannons for this. I can just walk up and aim for center mass and just laser this guy. And if two of them hit, I mean, if I don't get it in the first couple shots, I'm going to take an opportunity. Yeah, see, I got that first shot off. It's at 5 center torso.
Reporting.
Health left. Paradise. We're going to point. We're going to remove the autocannon. We're going to 42% chance to hit the center torso. And an 85% chance, which means a 15% chance to fire our pity laser off onto the nearby terrain. Alright, Kraken can maybe fix this for us, right?
Standing by.
Right?
Roger.
67% chance to hit the center torso, 95% chance to hit at all. I like these odds. These are not bad odds. There we go. Kraken finishes the job as we get the jump on the first of the 2 quick draws. Easy peasy. Which leaves Apex an opportunity to just cool her guns and reposition. So the question becomes, did this guy move and entrench, or did he sprint?
I'm here.
Also, can we get position on him? This is an interesting position to get him in. So here's what I'm thinking. Apex braced. Wildfire braced. Paradise is covered. So the only one standing out here that's not got some damage prevention is Kraken. I kind of want to get the double turn again if I can. So I'm going to take Kraken. And I'm going to move him to a safe position. But I'm going to leave the rest of the team in place. I get the feeling that Paradise is going to get shot to hell here. And I'm going to reserve. And I'm going to reserve. And this guy is going to come up. There we go. Perfect. Oh, and it was in a... Oof. Alright. Paradise. Ugh.
Internal structure damage.
Oh. Splits his fire, which is not recommended. But a quick draw dug deep into Paradise's right arm. Fortunately, didn't get the crit.
Waiting for orders.
And now, with the double turn, well, 7/8 of the double turn, I think it is fair to say we are probably going to drill this guy into the ground. In fact, I can get this guy's right side from here. If I can exploit that a little bit harder, that would be fantastic. So Kraken will get the right side next turn. I don't think there's much in the way of other positions to stand over here is part of the problem. Oh, no, plenty of places to stand. I can stand here. Here, all right, I can stand in these 3 spots to get right side, front, front, front. This goes to the back, which I'll just work this right side. We'll leave whoever's last to hit the front. Crap. Ooh, right into the torso. Skip the arm, go straight for the meat.
Yes, Commander.
Wildfire can get to here, which
Move order.
somehow is in the right arc of this. Quick draw. Let's turn on the autocannons. Make sure we don't miss any shots here. Don't miss any opportunities. Woo, boy. That is about as much as you can ask for. Skip straight through the arm to the torso with 2 shots.
Awaiting orders.
And get right to the murdery part of this. Let's check this guy's paper doll. So now at this point we actually want to be hitting him from the front. And I don't need to move. Oh no, I actually do need to move. Apex is standing in a stupid spot relative to her target. Turn around.
Confirmed.
Brap. Oh, leg shot. Not ideal. But
Reporting critical hit.
autocannons bite deep and we get the knockdown. Everything's coming up R60Ls. Yeah, so long as you don't let them shoot at you, things work great for this chassis.
I'm receiving you.
Paradise, we'll just start with you on top. And sure, why not? If we miss the leg, we're just going to hit this guy in the center torso. Or we'll just hit all of it and explode him.
Complete.
That's okay. That seems fine. In fact, that seems fantastic.
Mission
Ladies and gentlemen,
successful.
this might really be worth thinking, putting some real hard thought into. If you have scenarios where you don't need to do a lot of moving, where you can set up some traps, where you can dictate position and get some jumps on some things. Hi-ya, that's mean. These 2 quick draws had a sum total of 2 alphas worth of fire before my Lance of UrbanMechs dropped them like bad habits. That is definitely worth keeping an eye on, I think. There's probably some places where if you do get to customize these mechs a little bit, you might want to try and shore up some of its weaknesses. It's hard to say what exactly... Okay, so there's a single heatsink, which seems like a weird outlier on this mech. I think it is probably worth pulling that single heatsink for either a ton of armor, which brings it up... So it's at 2/3 coverage. It's going to be another 16. You're at like 60 something. So you're like 70, 80. You'd be at like low 80s out of 90 something. So you go up to like 80% coverage, 85% coverage, which is not bad. It'll help for survivability. Or if you see that there might be a protracted fight in your future, you could throw in an extra ton of ammo. That is certainly an option. You could do something by removing a jump jet's only half a ton at that size, so I don't know that there's much you can do with the jump jets and small lasers. But there's a little bit of wiggle room that you could retool the R60L or an R60 into an R60L, where you shore up maybe its armor situation a little bit, maybe give it a little more ammo. But it is definitely worth your consideration, I think, given that if you can just get the move, if you get the first hard move and you just start dropping cannonballs on things, whoo boy, things go down fast. Worth your consideration. The R60L UrbanMech. 7 rounds, 13, not quite 14 minutes for that second engagement as we drill right through a pair of quick draws. I don't know that you can ask for much more than that out of these kinds of mechs. Good times, good times. But that'll be all for today's BattleTech in the morning, in my heart, but really in the afternoon. I am your tech in the lab, scrounging up the spare parts, Captain Nips. I hope you have a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And I will see all of you in the next video.